In this video, I'll be talking to you about exaltations and debilitations of planets. Every time an astrologer gets to look into a horoscope, the first thing that most probably he's going to do is to look out if there are any planets that are exalted and debilitated. For example, in the horoscope of Lord Sri Rama, we found many planets exalted. Usually, exaltation itself is special, and more the exalted planets, the better it gets. Of course, there are exemptions to this rule because of some other combinations affecting the exaltations, but in all probabilities, exalted planets are definitely welcome. Debilitated planets are weak, in a very bad mood, and during their ruling periods, one might have to go through a lot of hurdles. But don't worry, debilitated planets just mean that you have to do some remedies. You have to take some extra effort concerning that particular planet. It's just calling for attention. It's not that astrology is to be used as a predictive tool. It is only to be used as a method of guiding people to become a better human being. So let us start with um, obviously the first planet is the sun. So we'll pick up sun from here and then find out where the sun is exalted. So you know that this is the first sign and which is called Aries or Mesha. Always remember that this is the first zodiac sign. Okay, first Rashi. And the sun goes round like this once in 365.25 days. And he stays here for 1 month. Each sign he occupies for 1 month. And as he keeps going like this, from if a person is born between mid-April and mid-May, you will find that the sun is here. This is the exaltation sign of the sun. It is very easy to understand why the sun is exalted here. The reason for that is when the sun moves from here to here, most of the countries in the world where you find a lot of ice and snow, you will notice that the the ice melts and the water starts flowing, and you can suddenly see life coming back. You can see all the greeneries around, the flower season, the ephemeral plants, all these things you will see all over, and suddenly there is the activity of life from a long slumber. And this place is the winter. Okay, from the winter zone it comes, and then you enter the spring. So this the sun is always the giver of life, and when the sun reaches here, it reaches its best, the maximum potential. Makes all the difference to the world when the sun enters this particular sign. A new life begins. Therefore, this is the exaltation sign of the sun. And 7 signs from there, from the exaltation, one, count always from the same place where the sun is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the place where the sun becomes the weakest. So in most of the countries you will find the leaves from the tree has fallen, and therefore this is called the fall. And this is the onset of the weakness of the sun. So when the sun reaches here, it is called debilitated. So the exaltation of sun is over here and the debilitation is here. I leave the sun here, which is the exaltation point, and then I'll pick up the next one, the moon. The moon, as you know, goes round once in 28 days, and as it goes round, it reaches this point, which is called Taurus or Rishabha, and here moon is exalted. Moon is at its best. The easiest way to remember this is Lord Sri Krishna had the moon here, right in the middle of the sign in the star of Rohini. So think about the wonderful face of Lord Sri Krishna and the moon and the mind, the face can always relate it to all these things, and then remember that the moon is exalted here. Also, the sun and the moon are exalted in adjacent signs, and this position comes once a year as because this can happen only once a month, and within that month, only once this can happen. Whenever this happens, it is Akshaya Tritiya, the special day when people in India rush to buy gold. Akshaya Tritiya is based on these two positions, when the sun reaches here and the moon reaches here. So the debilitation is again count from year 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the place where the moon is at its weakest. And as the moon comes closer and closer to this border, it becomes really weak. This last bit is called Jyeshta Nakshatra, and this is the weakest point of the moon. So the moon is really weak here and exalted here. Exalted here, debilitated here. And so let us leave the moon here and pick up the next one, Mars. All these planets take almost a year to go one full round, and you can see Mars as it goes round like this. Once a year, it will touch upon this place. This is called Capricorn or Makara, and this is the sign where Mars get exalted. And 7 signs from here, it is over here, it is debilitated. So Mars here. If you recall Lord Sri Rama's horoscope, the sun was here, the moon wasn't here, the moon was here, but Mars was here. Mars here generally makes a person very bold, a warrior, a lot of leadership qualities, etc. Then we move on to Mercury. Mercury gets exalted here in Kanya or Virgo and debilitated here. The 7th sign is always a debilitation sign of a particular planet from its exaltation point. So let us leave Mercury here and then go on to Jupiter. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around. He stays in one sign for 1 year approximately. So currently Jupiter is here in 2012. Around May he is going to come over here and stay here for a year, and then after a year he comes here. This is the exaltation sign of Jupiter. Remember or recall in Lord Sri Rama's horoscope, Jupiter is here. And from here, the 7th sign over here, Jupiter is debilitated. So you can see that Mars and Jupiter get exalted in their opposite signs. Then the next one is we'll take Venus. So Venus is always very close to the sun. So both the Mercury and Venus spend roughly about a month in each sign. As the sun moves, Sun and Venus, Mercury and Venus also go very closely with the sun. So as the Venus goes over like this, it reaches this particular sign, and here he is exalted. Counting from here the 7th sign, over here Venus gets debilitated. So Venus and Mercury get exalted and debilitated in their opposite signs. Then we come to Saturn, the planet for justice, and as you expect it, he is exalted in Libra, the weighing, the good and the bad. So Saturn gets exalted in Tula or Libra and is debilitated in Aries. So this is the exaltation point of Saturn. Here you will notice that the Sun and Saturn are also opposites, get exalted in their opposite places. Obvious, maybe, because you can see that the Sun is light and heat and dark and fire, whereas Saturn is dark, cold, and is at the maximum distance from the Sun. Then the last one is last two are Rahu. Rahu gets exalted here in Rishabha, and Ketu gets exalted over here. So let us move Rahu and keep it here. Moon here. These are the exaltation signs of each of the planet concerned. Count the seventh from each planet, and that is the debilitation sign of the planet. As an exercise, you can look through the horoscope of your family members and friends and find out how many planets are exalted and how many planets are debilitated.